Ridiculous questions.
Meticulously debated.
This is Tell Me I'm Wrong.
Well, I was happy just last night. I've been losing sight. Citing all the falling fights. What is this if this ain't right? Back again, the monster rights. Losing life until that night. Life never let him lie. Light is my far past his way.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Joe at Tell Me I'm Wrong. I will be your moderator this week.
I'm Josh, and I'll be your debater.
And I'm Ryan, and I will also be debating this week.
All right, well, welcome guys. Thank you all for joining in this week with us. I was a little late getting into the...
Yeah, I was going to say, thanks for showing up, Joe. We really appreciate your punctuality.
Well, I started a new Disney movie with my daughter. I have a 2-year-old daughter.
Your third Disney movie?
Well, no, we'll talk about that. I have a 2-year-old daughter who is obsessed, obviously, with Disney Plus and a lot of stuff that comes on it. Mickey Mouse. She loves Tangled, Rapunzel. I think I've seen Tangled 46 times now. Toy Story, probably just as many. But
The Mandalorian.
I've actually not watched that yet. I'm watching the Clone Wars right now. Mandalorian is next. So it got me thinking about Disney movies that I had never seen. And Ryan brought it up. Looking back in my life, I think I can seriously remember watching 2, maybe 3 animated Disney movies
that is
in my life.
Embarrassing.
I've seen The Lion King.
Considering we are all 90s kids, that is just truly shocking.
We were living in like the prime age of the vault being open. Like you have no excuses.
The VHS Disney movies were like all me and my sister watched. We literally
just never got into
some of them out.
I got into Lion King. I think I watched Lion King. I know I watched the Robin Hood movie.
It's a good one.
And then just Ninja Turtles.
And I think I saw Aladdin.
So you think you saw Aladdin?
I don't know for sure. I don't know if I've ever finished it. I couldn't tell you what the plot was.
You couldn't tell me the plot of Aladdin? Wow.
No.
You haven't seen Fox and the Hound?
No. Lady and the Tramp.
101 Dalmatians?
What's the 2 with the two little, like, are they mouses or chipmunks?
It's not the chipmunks.
Great
that
Detective.
was definitely not a
Great Mouse Detective or something like that.
It's like something Adventures.
I think it's a Great Mouse Detective, actually. I'll have to look it up.
I saw something like that. I was more into, like you said, Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, stuff on Nickelodeon, Salute Your Shorts, Eureka's Castle. Yeah. There was Disney movies that I watched that are non-animated ones. Like, I was all about Disney Channel Originals, Brink, and...
classics.
Miracle in Lane 2, and Alley Cat Strike.
Wasn't Blank Check a Disney Channel original? Did you watch that one?
No, it was not a Disney Channel original. And
it wasn't?
Nope. It was
I could have sworn.
Put out in syndication. It was not syndication, but it was in the theaters. And a fun fact about Blank Check. So I have 2 siblings, 2 sisters. And I'm 6 years older than one and 13 years older than the other one. And when my middle sister was born, the day that she was born, hours after she was born, my dad was made to take me to watch the movie Blank Check in theaters hours after his daughter was born. His second child was born. Because, as I'm told in the story, I was 6 years old. I don't remember it. My mom was worried that I was not getting enough attention that day. So she had my dad leave the hospital with his new baby and his wife had just gave birth.
Not leave the hospital with his new baby.
No, the baby
stayed at the hospital, right? He didn't take the baby to see a movie.
The baby was at the hospital, but leave the hospital where his new baby was and his wife who just gave birth to go see Blank Check, about a movie about a kid who adds a bunch of zeros basically to a check, gets way more money than any bank ever holds, and then buys a house, builds obstacle courses, swoons an FBI agent.
Man,
I was going to say, doesn't he make out with an FBI agent?
He doesn't make out. She kisses him on cheek. There's like some tension there.
I actually saw a clip very recently on Twitter because I was thinking the same thing. I remembered that scene vaguely, but I saw the clip.
Are you sure it was on Twitter or were you on YouTube like searching like FBI makeout scene Blank Check? Because I got questions if that was the case.
Listen, we already had the tonsil hockey episode. Let's move on. This was definitely on Twitter because it was somebody talking about how insane it was that at the end of this movie,
He's right.
it is a kiss on the lips from an FBI agent to a 10-year-old.
It is a Daily Mail article.
Like, that is so inappropriate.
Disney
That
Plus
was like
users are left outraged over a deeply disturbing scene in 1994 comedy that shows an adult woman kissing an 11-year-old boy on the mouth.
And it's not like a cute mom to kid peck. It is like a romantic kiss.
Her mouth is open. It's open mouth.
So this is just a movie about crimes. Like, he clearly commits fraud by adding zeros to check. I can't imagine that's legal. And then
no, that would be considered fraud.
Buys a house over the phone. That is not how that works. Having bought a house. Now, granted, the 90s were different. 90s were different, led to a huge housing crisis. It was a whole thing.
Wasn't that was pre-housing crisis? So that actually might have happened. He may have gotten a loan over the phone.
So the kid in the movie is in 5th grade. So
he's 10. He's literally 10.
Well, she agrees to go on a date with him in 6 years.
But then she kisses him on the lips, which
so
is
he's got to be 12.
kosher.
They later agree to go on a date in 6 years, and she ends up kissing the preteen boy on the mouth.
I cannot believe that. Like, I watched this movie multiple times as a kid. How did I not think that was shocking?
I guarantee as a kid, I was like, wow, he just kissed an adult. How cool.
I mean, listen, when that Disney magic comes over you.
That Disney magic.
So
apparently Joe doesn't really know about the Disney magic.
So he left the hospital to go see Blank Check with me.
What were the other options? When was your sister born?
This is a very important question, and I need you to think hard about it.
February 22nd of 1994.
94?
Yes. So box office.
This is very important.
22nd, 1994. I want to know because,
the options.
We're off the road. Reality Bites, Schindler's List, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park?
You could have seen Jurassic Park.
I was 6, you all.
You could have seen
that's a
the movie version of the worldwide hit musical Jurassic Park, and your dad didn't take you?
The Wretched, True History of the Kelly Gang, Resistance, The Invisible Man.
Also, if I'm looking at the right thing, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was out.
Yeah, I definitely should not have seen that.
Clearly, Blank Check was the best option, is what I'm saying.
Well, I'm thinking that my dad must have thought, well, he is...
What I'm thinking is your dad pulled up to the theater and said, this one sounds good. Because
Basically.
I'm assuming he did not begin his day thinking, oh, I'm probably going to go to the movies later. So I doubt he had looked at this time in the 90s, it would have been looking at the newspaper. So I'm doubting that he looked at the newspaper to see what was playing. So he was probably like, you know what? This one's rated G. Let's go see it. And then at the end, he found out it shouldn't have been rated G.
Oh, man. You were also a couple weeks from D2, The Mighty Ducks. I mean, 1994 was killing
I would
it.
have chose that. I was a big Mighty Ducks fan. So, wow, we really got off topic there, guys.
What else is
Let's
new?
try to pull this back in. This whole topic, this whole debate came up. It was recommended by us by Skylar Simpson of which Disney princess is most likely to become a serial killer. Most of the Disney movies have princesses in them, and they're all creepy. Say what you want, they're all creepy. But which one is most likely to become a serial killer? Now, I've seen quite a few. I've watched Beauty and the Beast now. I watched Tangled. I've watched a couple others. Moana now. I've only seen about 10 minutes of her. But
and your favorite Disney princess is still Quasimodo? That's incredible.
Yes. He just has a way with words. So let's expound off that. So, Josh, Ryan, educate me.
All right. Well, I will start because in looking at this topic, and I did some pretty extensive research, as I know Josh did as well, that we're trying to stick to our tagline of meticulous. I wanted to start with the psychology of a serial killer. So this is a very hotly debated thing in psychology because everybody wants to know, what is it that makes a person turn into this monster? What is it? What is the thing that clicks in someone's brain?
Seen Blank Check at a young age.
I mean, that could be a factor. One of the things that is mentioned is none of them really have very well adjusted childhoods. So I think this is something that actually it will play a factor in every Disney movie, because that's where the drama starts. They're always like, there's, as we have mentioned before, there's only one parent in any Disney movie. Like, you never have two parents in a Disney movie. It's very rare. So, and then when we were deciding about princesses, I thought I'd look a little bit into female serial killers, which are much rarer. One, female serial killers tend not to leave bodies, and they also tend to have longer careers because they are harder to catch. I thought that was an interesting tidbit. And they also tend to gather and are more likely to kill the people around them rather than the male serial killer, which spends a lot of time hunting or, going after prey or something like that. So consider that as we start this debate about what princess is going to become the serial killer. I will toss it to you, Josh.
To say, it sounds to me like you just set up the backstory for every Disney princess, but that's a different.
Honestly, as I was researching it, I was like, yep, check.
Yeah, well,
none of them just have an easy life. I don't get it.
Because
it's all about building the drama. Exactly.
Occasionally, it'd be nice to just see someone like get up and like, well, I'm gonna head to work. I love you, honey.
just a cartoon about your normal life.
Yes, make me feel normal.
Have you seen The Truman Show?
I was gonna say Truman Show, or if you want a cartoon about your life, just watch like Family Guy or something.
Oh, is that a burn? I can't tell. I think that's a burn.
Archer definitely exemplifies my life.
Yes, of course. Anyways, as we started to finally dip our toe into true crime on Tell Me I'm Wrong, because I don't think that there's nearly enough true crime podcasts, if we're being honest.
We have to. I mean, I feel like we have a lot of value to bring to that genre.
We've been hitting every other demographic: the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle demographic,
horror,
Broadway demographic, horror. We hadn't gotten to true crime yet, but here we are.
The classic fast food genre of podcasting.
Yeah, all the big demographics that our podcast agent told us to hit. We've done so far. Big pizza, all the important ones, but. As we dip our toe into true crime, I also did a little bit of research on serial killers and tried to think of what are some things that you have to have as a serial killer in your backstory. So I think the first one that I really focused in on was you have to establish a motive for them. Like, why are they doing this? It could be a troubled childhood. It could be, rage. Tap into what that character's feeling and kind of why they're doing what they're doing. Then you have to have someone that maybe has a little bit of a shaky moral code. Like, obviously they're not going to be, a person who has a lot of empathy or feelings. So you really got to find someone who kind of fits that characteristic. And then I think as a serial killer, in order to be successful, you have to have kind of a way to hide it. Like, what's your alibi? Like, how are you getting away with this? And so I took all that into account when I kind of picked my character. Now, I'll go ahead and I'll introduce mine since I'm talking here. And, I looked at all the options. Lots of good ones, as we've said. Lots of ones that would fit the profile. But there was one that I really kind of felt calling me, which is coincidentally how folks of her kind tend to kill people. And that was Ariel, the Little Mermaid.
Yes. That was a favorite of my sister and I.
Yeah. It honestly was not my favorite one, which is maybe why I picked her. I just want her to be a terrible person. It's got some good songs, got some fun sea creature characters, got some, sea witch, all the things that I love in a movie just didn't click for me, I guess. But in looking at it, I kind of went back to the source material. Hans Christian Andersen. Now, I know that Ryan, when he gets into his debate, because I've gotten a little sneak peek, is also a Hans Christian Andersen tale. So it appears that he is the whisperer of murderous Disney princesses.
It seems like the Disney production studio just has like a book of Hans Christian Andersen, and they're just like, you know what? All right, turn the page. Let's produce the next one.
This is fine.
The story that mine came from was from 1884. I think yours is like way older.
Mine's older than that. Yeah. And so in his version, I mean, it's much darker than the Disney version, obviously. but it really kind of sets the stage for how Ariel gets to that point, because a couple points I'll go ahead and point out. First, in the Hans Christian Andersen version, Ariel's sisters like to seduce sailors and drown them in the ocean, sing their siren song, get the attention, pull them under. That is a perfect crime because, I mean, they're deep sea. You can't get past it. Secondly, mermaids, according to lore, didn't have a soul. I feel like...
Now that is interesting, and I think could play a big factor in that movie if that was brought up.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Disney decided to not go that route and decided to make her just a relatable teenage mermaid, you know, as they are.
Yeah. So it's very relatable.
Absolutely. And then as we get into the story, which I'll get into later, I mean, it's much darker. Like, it's not just as simple as giving up, you know, something in order to get legs and get to land to seduce Prince Eric. She, like, has to make some tough choices. Like, is she going to have to kill somebody? Will she die if she doesn't fulfill her purpose? It's much more interesting. But before I get into all that, I'll pass it off to Ryan and let you kind of introduce your character and see if it can live up to Ariel off the start.
All right. Well, when we got this topic suggested to us from Skylar, I immediately was pulled towards really one of the more recent princesses, and that is Princess Elsa of Arendelle. It is originally from as mentioned, Hans Christian Andersen story that is titled The Snow Queen. This is actually one of his most well-known stories and also his longest. There are like a bunch of different books involved in The Snow Queen.
It's amazing that Disney made it to the 2010s without touching on this one, quite honestly.
It seems to be that they had really missed out. Maybe it had been in the works for a long time.
They were waiting on the right person to sing that song.
They're waiting on Adina, just waiting on her.
Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem. The interesting thing is originally Elsa was left at the altar, and because of this, she chose to freeze her heart because she didn't want to be hurt again.
I can feel that.
I was going to say, I think Josh can relate in this story a little bit. Just kidding.
I'm an emotional boy.
We love you, Josh. When originally formed, they had this story. They legitimately had written the story where there was a battle at the end of the movie between the Arendelle people and Elsa and her snow army. There were like snowmen and snow creatures. I know. I was like, we missed out on this.
Where's my Snow White and the Huntsman about that?
Exactly. And they had written this whole story, and they got to the end and they decided no one really cares about, like, it's hard to emotionally connect with Elsa. And I was like, yeah, that might happen if you have a character that freezes her heart. And so she becomes disconnected and like this inhuman person because she froze her heart. And so they decided to scrap the whole evil Snow Queen and go with more of a lighthearted sister affair.
A Disney finish. Now, I have a couple of important questions. In your research, did the Hans Christian Andersen version have the legend that is Josh Gad as a talking snowman?
It did not come up in my research, but that is not to say that there is not a lovable snowman that the Snow Queen animates.
What about a lovable moose?
That actually might have been in there. Here's an interesting thing. I don't know if this was intentional or not. Hans Christian Andersen is the writer's name, and the bad guy, quote unquote, in Frozen is Hans.
Well, he is the Disney bad boy, so that would make sense.
So who knows? Just thought I would throw out that connection there.
And this was Ryan's Conspiracy Corner. Thank you for tuning in.
That's right. Listen, the conspiracies are coming someday. So if we want to, I can go ahead and get into some of my reasons why I think Elsa would make a great serial killer.
I would love to hear them personally, but I'll leave it up to the moderator.
No, I'm. Go ahead, counselor.
All right. So number one, and this was just something that came to me right away, you know, that gut feeling. She has ice powers, which I feel like personally would be maybe the best powers to have to become a serial killer because it's so hard to try and track down. There's very little evidence. I felt like that was already a good reason.
Also, and I don't want to help your debate, but I mean, icicles are dangerous. They could just happen. They could just happen to fall on somebody and kill them, just coincidentally.
And then it melts. No evidence. 2, she is completely emotionally unstable. Now, this is where I will continue to build the backstory. All of this emotionally unstable personality comes from the fact that 1, her parents left very early. 2, she was isolated from society for it. According to the movie, it's around 16 years.
Do you mean isolated?
Isolated? No,
I hate myself. I'm so sorry.
Terrible joke.
That was awful.
Listen, I'm just trying to be funny on this comedy podcast.
The last one is the fear of rejection. This was also in my research in this serial killer. Most of the story of Elsa is driven by fear. You could say it's probably the number one motif of the movie. And this is also something that can drive a serial killer, is this fear of rejection. So I believe that this will be the core of the reason why Elsa chooses to go down the path of a serial killer.
Those are all pretty good reasons, to be quite honest. And I'm a little bit nervous because if Joe were to pick you to win this, based on what you've said about Elsa so far, between the ice heart and fear of rejection, I feel like me and her get along quite well. And I'd start wondering a lot of things about myself. And I'm
Josh,
not
we need to have a talk.
Might need to start watching whenever the snowy months come around. Might need to start paying attention to what Josh is looking at.
Well, global warming's trying to break up my crime racket, so we'll see what happens.
That's actually in my storyline as well. Is that Elsa's biggest enemy is actually global warming.
That's the real monster
Frozen
out
3,
there.
Elsa versus global warming.
All of our biggest enemy. To be fair.
All right. Well, back on track.
Yeah. So those were good. Now I'm going to get back a little bit to Ryan's points. I talked about mine of establishing motive, shaky moral code, having an alibi, and I'll get into those. But first, I want to take Ryan's own points and show that, Ariel fits those to a T. So you mentioned a poorly adjusted childhood. Ariel, like every Disney character, only one parent, who happens to be a mer king, Triton. And he's kind of a domineering guy. They don't have the best relationship, clearly a loving relationship, but, it's a little bit tough. So poorly adjusted childhood, check. Said female serial killers tend to not leave bodies and have longer careers. She's got friends in low places, meaning the bottom of the ocean.
Quite literally. Yeah.
Like Garth Brooks?
Well, I don't know that Garth
Brooks have a sea witch? He might,
honestly.
He has so much money.
He has so much money. He might own a sea witch. But regardless of the sea witch, she could hit up Flounder. Like Flounder knows where the bodies are. And so he'll drag somebody down there if she needs to hide something. So she's got a perfect way to hide these bodies and get rid of the evidence.
Flounder's going to be the one to roll over. They're gonna have to get
I don't
Flounder
know.
to roll over.
I feel like Flounder's not gonna turn on her.
He's pretty loyal, but I feel like there are ways. There are ways.
Is Flounder the lobster or the blue and yellow fish?
No, fish. Flounder is not the lobster. He is the blue and yellow fish. Sebastian is the lobster.
And he's not a lobster. He's a crab.
I don't know. I think Sebastian might be the one to turn on her. I don't know.
That's a debate for another time.
We'll do that one another time. But the last point that you made is that they tend to gather and kill those around them. So this kind of gets to my points of establishing motive. Now, in Ariel's story, it is said, in the Disney version, she gives up her voice to get legs, to get to the sea. And until she gets a first kiss from Prince Eric, when they sing Kiss the Girl. Kiss the Girl. Great song. So until she kisses Prince Eric, she can't talk. which A, makes it hard to get in any relationship because after a while that's going to get a little weird. And B, means that she really has to do something. Now, if we're looking at the Hans Christian Andersen version, it's a little bit different. If she doesn't marry Prince Eric, or if someone else marries him, she turns into sea foam and is gone forever.
That's quite
terrifying.
different.
So, setting up motive, that leaves only a couple options. If she doesn't get married to him, she has to kill Prince Eric. That's the start to life of crime.
It's pretty straightforward, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, this man's a prince, and clearly on Tinder, he's got his age restrictions down real low because Ariel's like 15. So A, it's illegal. B, he's coming from a wide pool. He's a prince. He's got tons of suitors, tons of parents want to set their daughters up with him. So,
and man, have you seen that hair?
That hair. I mean, a beautiful coif. So if someone's trying to like get at him or like he's dating somebody, like Ariel's going to have to kill him. Now, after a while, you'd think Prince Eric might be a little concerned that all of his girlfriends keep disappearing. He doesn't know where they went. But A, if we're going by the Disney version, she can't talk, so she can't give herself up. B, she can hide the body in the ocean. And C, she has a motive to kill these people. She also has
sisters that apparently have killed before.
Have already killed. You also have to have a shaky moral code. If you're looking at the background she came from, her sisters had a shaky moral code because they were killing people. And she doesn't have a soul.
I was going to say also to not to make your point for you, but anybody who makes a deal with a sea witch, probably not the truest moral code there.
Well, I mean, good people make deals with, never mind. We won't worry about that right now. But
desperate people.
Yes, desperate people. But anyways, so obviously she doesn't have a soul. She's made a deal with the sea devil. And so like she has nothing. I mean, she has a lot to lose, which is why she's doing this in the first place. And then the last thing is that you have to have an alibi or a way to hide what you're doing. She can't talk until she gets that kiss from Prince Eric. So like can't give herself up. Flounder's not going to turn. Sebastian, I trust him. I know you all said you don't trust him, but I trust him. He's going to be fine. Triton, no one's going to mess with him. The only person you really got to worry about is Ursula, but she's been doing so much shady stuff. I doubt she's going to get involved. She's staying way out of this investigation.
Plus, you'd have to get to her.
Yeah, I mean, how do you do that? Submarine?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is how are they going to bring them downtown for questions?
Because really, there's no evidence outside of Ursula. So yeah, I mean, these are good points.
So like to me, Ariel, if we're looking at the source material combined with the Disney material, and we're looking at the picture as a whole, I mean, I think it makes it pretty clear that Ariel, I mean, she could A, have a reason to do this, and B, get away with it. And I think that makes her a perfect candidate to be the serial killer princess.
Those are truly terrifying women who have a lot of motive to kill. Now, I have met some men in my life that would like to find a woman who couldn't talk, but those are not men that I like to surround myself with.
This is not that podcast, Joe.
No, I said men in my life. I didn't say me.
This is not the tell me I'm wrong experience. This is just regular tell me I'm wrong.
That's our podcast within a podcast.
I'm thinking about how I want you to lay out your points the rest of the way through.
Okay.
Y'all ever listen to another podcast about a true crime podcast? I know not a lot of people do anymore.
Nobody does.
They were popular for a day. There was one that was named after cereal.
Named after cereal, not named cereal.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Apple Jacks. This week we're going to be talking about the case of Adnan Syed.
This is Captain Crunch.
Well, speaking of Captain Crunch, I will say I've listened to quite a few true crime podcasts because my girlfriend is a big fan. Which if I ever disappear, A, I don't know who's going to edit this podcast. B, it was my girlfriend.
That's a really good point.
But anyways, I've listened to quite a few true crime podcasts, and there is one, I believe, called True Crime Garage that has a guy on it who goes by Captain, I think. So there is a Captain Crunch in the true crime
So I like true crime podcast. I know
Listen, I'm with you, Joe. My introduction to podcasts was actually true crime podcast. I think most people are that way.
That's kind of where I was. The true crime, and then Adventure Zone for D&D. Yep. That was the one that really got me going. Now it's Bim Bam and all of them. But like True Crime Cast, I love that one. I love Generation Y. Those are great. So what I want you all to do when we come back from the monitor's office, I want you all to present a true crime podcast to me about Ariel, Josh, and about Elsa. I want to hear your true crime podcast. I want to hear a cool name. I want to hear you lay out why. And I want you all to speak to me in a dull, monotone, no emotion, even keel voice the whole time.
I think we could do that.
I think I can do that.
Yes. So whose moderator office are we going to this week?
I think yours, actually.
Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, no, that's fine.
Is that a suitcase?
I haven't planned anything because I'm like going on vacation soon.
Oh.
But give me like 2 minutes and then you guys can come in.
Oh, okay. Well, we could kill some time, I think.
Okay.
We'll see you there in a minute.
We can talk about other true crime podcasts.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, we'll see you in a minute, Joe.
Yeah, so S-Town was probably my personal favorite. I mean, the human element, it was just a beautiful way of storytelling.
It caught a couple tears with me, to be quite honest. I mean, that moment towards the end.
Have we been talking for like 10 minutes? Let's go over to the door.
Yeah, let's open the door.
Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you to Tampa, Miami. Come on, pretty mommy. Let's go down to Florida. Destin Beach, here I come. Oh, yeah. I'm going down to Miramar.
Joe.
Oh, crap. Hey, guys. No.
Yeah. Hey,
you told us to come in 2 minutes.
Were you just singing this whole time?
Yeah, no, I was singing. I'm going to Florida. I'm really excited. I need a break after COVID.
You're going to Florida. Where are you going?
I'm going outside of Destin.
Ooh, the Redneck Riviera.
Yeah, Redneck Riviera. Actually, it's really nice. Okay, that's going to be me, my parents, and all the old people. So I'm just literally excited to get somewhere else besides my house and my parents' house and work. Even if I have to sit in my condo, I don't care.
I just want to give you a little word of caution because our conversation so far has made me kind of worried. If you hear like a siren song or like a beautiful singing voice, not like what you were just doing, like I would just stay away because mermaids like to kill people. I didn't know if you know that from our first half of the conversation for the guy who's definitely going to win the debate.
I am scared of them now, but listen, I'm a happily married man. I ain't going towards no mermaid. I saw Overboard. They're dangerous and they're bad.
Yeah, that's all good, well and good, guys. But I need to take a moment here, Joe. I'm just now noticing your shirt.
What about it?
Is that an airbrush T-shirt that says Master Debater?
Also, does it say 4-0, which is incorrect?
That's not even your. When did you have that made? I think you've actually won more than that. I don't like to admit it, but
yeah. So sometimes I wear it when I come to the office. It's my casual shirt. I like it because it makes me feel casual, and all I do is win, no matter what.
Do you have an airbrush guy?
I got a guy. Okay, I got a guy. If you want to meet him, you need a guy. Let me know.
In Kentucky,
I got a guy. It's expensive, but he's good.
Shirts outside of Panama City.
So I got a guy, and yeah, I am the master debater. I think what I've won now 6 now. So until you can step up to my level, you don't have to worry about the shirt because you're not going to wear it.
Got a couple points. A, once again, your record is the shirt's not even right. B, we explicitly agreed when we started this podcast we were never going to use the words master debater, and you have already screwed that up. We're not even 10 episodes in. That was in our contract.
I just told him to make me a shirt, and this is what he made.
I don't think that happened. For 1 minute.
Well, look, do we have any ads? Do we have any ads this week?
No, I've been trying to pack. I got my skimboard, I got my float, I got my beach chair, and my little umbrellas for my drinks.
We need to have a business meeting. We have to get this together.
Okay, I will have an ad for next week. I promise.
Okay. Well, In the meantime, can you just reassure me that you did not use the company card for your vacation?
For
Joe.
For all my vacation?
Any of it, Joe?
You had to give her a credit card for a security deposit.
Yeah, don't you have your own?
I mean, I didn't have it with me.
How did you... Oh, God.
Okay, you know what? Just go. You guys are crushing my vibe right now. This is vacation, Joe. I'm happy. Cowabunga. You gotta go.
How about we get out of your office, because I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Cocoa Beach. Yeah.
Joe.
What? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm focusing. Okay.
Take the headphones out, put on a real shirt, and let's go.
I'm gonna I put my Hawaiian shirt on. I gotta play loose though, because I'm like that.
Just at least one more button for me, bud.
Okay, all right, fine. I put the hamburger meat away. Okay.
Oh gosh,
jeez.
Let's
never
get back
get ads.
to the moment at hand. I need a true crime podcast from each of you. Ryan, you start us off first, so let's let Josh start us off this time. And I need you to sell it. I need to feel that emotional connection to take me to this place where the crime happened. Give me the facts, but then let me formulate my own decision at the end.
I think we can do that. So let me let me transport us to a world of true crime here, if you all are ready. This season on Ariel.
This is a prepaid call from Ariel, an inmate at the Northsea Correctional Facility. This call will be recorded and monitored. Do you accept the charges?
Yes.
Hello?
Ariel, are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. So glad to hear from you. I'm ready to tell my story.
So you're telling me that you don't know what happened after she went to the land?
Ariel just came to me one day and she was like, Flounder, I'm going to land. She just grabbed her gadgets and gizmos, her who's-its and what's-its, and she just took off. Well, I just, I got tied up with the wrong people and in the wrong crowd, and, I just wanted to be with Prince Eric so badly that I made some bad deals with Ursula.
Oh, Ariel, that poor unfortunate soul. I have no clue what happened to her. Good day.
Well, Prince, Prince Eric, did you have any idea what might have been going on with Ariel?
Well, no, I didn't. I was dating a bevy of beautiful women, and all of a sudden they kept disappearing one by one until Ariel was there, and I said, you know what, let's get married. And when she didn't die, I thought that must mean that she's the one.
I just wanted to be where the people were. I just wanted to see them dancing. Walking around on their feet, and I just went about it the wrong way.
That was good. That was very, very good. Very, very evocative, the imagery there. It's going to be hard to follow, but I do think Ryan's up to the challenge. So, Ryan, what do you have prepared for me?
Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Icetown. This is the story of a family torn apart. We begin in the simple town of Arendelle. You might say the setting of a fairy tale. But these citizens know just how dark it can get.
Yeah, I was down in the town square for the coronation, and then it got real dark and real cold. My cousin went up to the mountain to try to talk to that queen, and he never came back. We even heard from Elsa's mother.
We thought we were helping by isolating her, keeping her safe. It turns out
We were just creating a monster. A person with power like this, she's always told not to feel, to conceal. What she felt became disconnected from her humanity. The day her groom left her at the altar, she was no longer able to let it go. And she turned to killing. She continued killing because she hoped it would make her feel again. She continued killing because it was the only thing that she thought could lead her back to her humanity. But it turns out, it was what led her away. The evidence that was found was always hard to track because of, well, the nature of Elsa herself. But eventually the body count started to connect. And now, the Snow Queen from Arendelle is on ice. That's it for this week's episode of Ice Town. Come back next week and we will discuss Olaf, the mysterious accomplice.
Wow, that was great
bit,
too.
A little bit shorter, but I feel like I had the meat there.
No, it was great. Both of those, I would definitely tune into both of those podcasts. I would subscribe, rate, 5-star review.
I mean, there just weren't enough on-site interviews for my taste, but that's just me.
Well, but he was laying the groundwork.
Not a single prison phone call.
But I don't know. From what I understood, his suspect was not in prison. He was on a mountaintop. So you can't call it prison and talk to. Hey, can you give me someone to talk to up here? I just need to record something for my podcast. I don't care who they are. Well, both of those were podcasts that I would definitely tune into. Both of them were podcasts that I would probably go through and listen to twice. The first time to enjoy, and then the second time to really sink my teeth into. Both of y'all gave clear reasoning on why you think your particular person would be a murderer. Ariel definitely has motive. Not having a voice is bad for a lot of people, and not being able to get the one you love can drive you to do things that you never thought you were capable of doing. Elsa, she's very kind of in a similar boat. She's left at an altar. I mean, what is the old saying? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Especially a woman who has ice powers.
Or Josh scorned.
So that's even scarier. That's true. But you're always scorned.
This is true.
So I definitely think both of your people are murderers and have psychopathic tendencies and both need to be taken away. But there was one to me that was a clear-cut serial killer. The clear-cut serial killer is the Ice Queen.
No! What?
Oh, snap.
No way!
Snap. From the ashes I will rise.
No!
Josh,
yes,
Ariel
Joe
is a killer. She's a murderer. But I think technically, the way that she was presented, she would be considered a spree killer.
No.
Yes.
The true crime.
A spree killer. Ryan
did you in?
Gave me a serial killer, someone who killed in passion, had a clear-cut motive, and had a methodology of their killing.
What? Disconnect from humanity. Yes.
I believe
it's all about
Ariel
the psychology.
Killed off of a moment, a particular moment that caused her to go on a murder rampage, if you will. But I don't know that would continue. If her prince is gone, I don't know if she would keep killing. I think it is part of Elsa now.
Yes.
I'm sorry for that.
Feels so good.
I have to speak from where my ears and my heart. So I go with Elsa the Ice Queen as the Disney princess serial killer.
Well, based on your explanation, it doesn't sound like you're speaking from your heart. You're speaking from your ass. I will say that first. Secondly,
Josh is always a sore loser every time.
So bitter.
Because, listen, now, sometimes, I'll be honest.
The debate has ended. The decision has been made.
I'm not even debating this anymore. I'm debating something else. And that is that it's not fair. Look, I laid out.
Wah.
No. Look,
Be a man.
sometimes I lose. Frequently I lose. I will say that. And I honestly, you know what? Deep down in my heart, when I go to bed that night afterwards, I can understand it. I can see where y'all were coming from. But on this one, I must admit, I am truly shocked, dismayed, ashamed. Just, I can't, like, this is just not right.
Listen,
It's not right.
you just have to come to the reality that I was the better debater this week.
Will not agree with that. And you know what, Ryan, just in the episode now, because if we don't, I'm going to.
I listen. I loved your podcast, and I would listen. But we asked who the best serial killer was, and he gave me the facts.
No. We
Now,
said
now,
who is
how
most
you
likely
feel-
to be a serial killer.
How you feel right now is how I felt when your stupid rat beat Colonel Harlan Sanders.
All right. Well, I think before we get into too many of our previous debates, I think that's going to do it for us this week. We have genuinely enjoyed recording this episode.
Guys, this was fun. You guys have an opportunity to be in true crime. Those were both great.
Josh enjoyed it up until the very last moment.
I'll tell you, the tension in my podcast studio right now can be cut with like a plastic spoon. Just
why don't you go sit? Just go sit in your moderator's office, and you'll be
all right.
We definitely want to thank everybody for listening. We really appreciate the support, and just hope that you will continue to listen. I also want to thank Isle of Eight, the band, for the use of our theme song "Jean Jacket." Go check out that song on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere you can find good music. Give it a listen. It always gives our show a great energy to start out and to end it off.
Yeah, and make sure you give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Tell Me I'm Wrong Pod, TMIWPOD. I do want to once again shout out Skylar Simpson for giving us the idea of this show. This was a listener suggestion, and obviously we had a lot of fun with it, and we want more of those. You guys, please give us suggestions. We are constantly thinking of new possible debates, but we love to hear what you all, because you all have a different mindset. You may think of something we would never think of, and we definitely want to hit those up. So please reach out to us on social media. Use hashtag TMIWPod with those, and tell a friend. That's the best thing you can do to help us out. Subscribe, review, all that's great. But if you could tell a friend, that truly helps us more than anything else.
And listen, I'm a little bummed out, but I'm going to do my part.
Josh.
I can't
Be a professional.
This is not. We don't have any sponsors. This is not a professional podcast. I can be upset.
That's a good point. I guess we're technically still amateurs.
Regardless of that, you can go.
We retain our amateur status.
You can go to our website, tmiwpod.com. There we have pictures of the evidence that comes from Ariel's killings, displaying exactly why she is a monster and why she's the biggest serial killer. We have articles and resources for how you can learn more about how I was correct. I'm just kidding. None of that's there. I'm not going to go through that much effort to prove my point, but nevertheless, you can go there and you can sign up for our mailing list. You can find our social channels. You can listen to episodes. You can drop us a line and tell everybody on this podcast how much they suck other than Josh, because he was right. It's just a great place for you to really sound off on Ryan and Joe and just lay into them for the mess they've created on this episode.
Make sure you also just shout out Josh at how much of a whiner he is about losing. Just make sure you just really hit it hard that he needs to be a respectable loser.
Yeah, okay.
And as always, there is always one winner, but we're all losers. Later, losers.
Yeah, see ya, I guess.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I'm going to Miramar Beach, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Kissimmee, Orlando, please, all the way down to Key Largo. Let's get there fast and then never leave. That's why I love Florida, yo. Way down in Florida.